Can't you see? Hey, it says I'm live, so I guess I'm live. My name is Patrick. This is the Haverfish. Welcome. Don't ask me what we're doing today because I don't really know. I just want to play some cards. Oof. I think I finally found something that makes sense, you guys. I'm so excited because I've been coming across so many things that almost seem like they're it, but none of them have been. But the one I came across today, I think it might be the opportunity I was looking for. And it's interesting because I was laying down, I was about to take a nap, and I had closed my eyes and I was laying there, and then the thought just came to me to do one more search, and I did, and it took a little bit, not too much time, but it took a little bit of time, and I found, I think, what I was looking for, that golden opportunity. And when I was setting this up, Nessun Dorma popped into my mind. And so we're going to listen to it for a little bit. And also, I want to look up the lyrics. But like the Pavarotti Nessun Dorma. I'm pretty sure it was Pavarotti. Yeah, Pavarotti. Mm-hmm. It's this part. This is the part that popped into my mind. Okay, anyway, it's Nessun Dorma, Pavarotti. I do want to see what this is about because it's not in English, so I never knew what it was about. But with the power of Google, Nessun Dorma translation, please. Thank you. I am gonna actually talk about something, y'all. Let's see. I mean, can I get like, you know, maybe I should have put lyrics. Nessun Dorma translation, not sung in English. Lyrics. There we go. What are the lyrics to Nessun Dorma? Puccini. Nessun Dorma is an incredibly emotional aria that, for the passion and precision he poured into it, we have all come to associate with the late tenor Luciano Pavarotti. Or is it Luciano? So, does anyone actually know what Pavarotti is singing about? Let's see, let's see. Here are the full lyrics. None shall sleep, none shall sleep. Even you, O princess, in your cold room, watch the stars that tremble with love and with hope. That's interesting because after that, or was it before that? Ilo Milo or Ilo Milo from Billie Eilish popped into my head. And then there's a line in the beginning where she's like, I told you not to get too close to stars. They're never going to give you love like ours or something like that. I don't know. But my secret is hidden within me. My name no one shall know. No, no. On your mouth I will tell it when the light shines. And my kiss will dissolve the silence that makes you mine. No one will know his name, and we must, alas, die. What? Vanish, O night. Set stars, set stars. At dawn I will win. I will win, I will win. That's the song. He was singing for like 5 minutes. That's it. Okay, anyway, that was Ness and Dorma. So, I recently told a friend about, I think maybe two friends actually, about a dream I had about a little girl a while ago. When I was in school still, and I was like in a really, really, really dark place. And I had a dream about this beautiful little girl, and she was my daughter in the dream. And then I told someone about that dream a while ago, actually. And then that person was like, "Oh, that could like be your actual daughter, right? Love has the power to transcend time and space like that." And then it's interesting because one of the people that I talked to lately, yesterday, I think, said the same thing. And then I get on and I watch Consciousness Evolution Journey, her Pisces dream video. Because I was curious, because, the other ones were already up, and whenever it takes a while, I'm interested. And she said something about dreaming about a kid. And I was like, what? I mean, I had that dream a long time ago, but I just, told my friend about it, yesterday or the day before. But she was like, some of y'all who are, baby making age. I'm like, well, I mean, I ain't gonna get pregnant, so no matter how hard I try. And I haven't really tried. Justice and the Keeper. Keeper of Justice. So, if that was... Hold up. See, I'm about to put reversals in here. Hold up. Oh, look, there's the moon. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, snap. So at the bottom of the deck, there's the Keeper, the Four of Wands, Strength, the Hermit, the Moon, the Devil, and the Two of Swords, but the Tower right behind it. That's quite a few majors. Quite the story, actually. And so if that is my daughter, I'd like to get a card. If my future daughter, I wish I could have that dream again. Just be like, what does Daddy do for work? Where does he live? Like, come on, help me out here. Daddy needs to know now. What does Daddy do for work? Can you tell him? Can you tell me? The King and the Queen of Pentacles were just at the cut. Man, but maybe I will try to go back and see. I don't know. I am a little bit excited because I feel like there's less and less resistance to what I'm feeling led to do. And that's great. Okay, so one card from the little girl. Please. Reach across time and space. That's a whole bunch. But y'all know I take them. I take some. Okay. So bottom of the deck is going to be the Four of Swords. The Convalescent. This is a recovering energy. Let's see. We'll pull them from the bottom and go to the top. First card is Death. Which is interesting because these are supposedly, with the Queen of Pentacles behind this Four of Swords, these are supposedly the same. But this is Death. No, this is Death with the scythe turned into the sword that's next to him, and Sleep with the angel in the window, right? Supposedly. But it's transformation, right? And that could just be Brooklyn. Girl, you all late. I filled out that thing hours ago. So we're starting with transformation. And it's directly heading towards this Page of Wands. And I have been talking a lot about lately, me not being so quick to say that I won't like something. Me being a lot more flexible. Also, the Archangel Ariel second chakra has been coming out of the Energy Oracle cards a lot. And she was talking about, creativity and intimacy and stuff like that. And so earlier I was like, well, maybe we'll end up in an area that we don't necessarily think of. This is kind of sort of a mind your business type energy to me, at least. With the Ten of Wands here, This is interesting. What this mean? Hold up. So I think I might in the chariot. There's 4 cards left. So this is how we're gonna do this. And then I'm actually gonna grab one of these for the message. What is this page of? There we go. So the message is the 3 of Spades, a complete restructuring of home, a breathtaking sight that redefines beauty, allowing one's soul to breathe. Yeah, that's kind of sort of the energy I was getting with Death in the Page of Wands. It's like it pretty much feels like still ending up in something that I don't even like. I still don't know. That's very much like a live life and find out type of energy. Because it's like, you know, what happens in that space where you do something that you don't even know why you do it. And it reminds me of the Matrix when I think Neo asked the Oracle like if she knows everything, and she was like, you know, I can only see up until like I forget what she said, but she was like, I can't see past like choices that like we don't know that will make or why we'll make them or something like that. And it's this energy. Then with the 10 of Wands and the Chariot, I've talked about 10 of Wands in my journey. Honestly, this feels like a balance. It feels like a give and take with spirit, honestly. Or that, like, almost like you're on the right path. It's just a little bumpy patch, a little rough patch. But keep moving forward regardless. Clarifying death, judgment. So, I mean, hey, accurate. And I guess that makes sense, right? Because if we go back a few months before I even had this channel or when I just started the channel, if we go back to April, I was almost a completely different person. I would never have spoken the way that I speak now back then. I would have continued to bite my tongue. I'm like, oh, that's none of my business. I'm like, oh, I'll just sit back and watch it all unfold. And so there is an energy here of what is necessary or what has been deemed as necessary. The 2 of Swords with that Page of Wands. And again, it's giving me the energy of like making a choice or a decision that I can't even see that I'll make. And it could almost be the space of like the choice isn't even mine. It's like a choice that I'm like divinely led to make. Right? Like those, if I would have had my way, I wouldn't even be doing this right now. But if I wouldn't have done this, then I wouldn't have discovered. One second. If I wouldn't have done this, then I wouldn't have discovered how much I actually love this. Mm, water is pretty good. 10 of Wands is coming out with the Tower. Both of these are happening at night. It feels like there's an energy of obstruction due to corruption. Like there's still something that needs to be healed. Or not that it needs to be healed, but maybe. It just feels like something unseen. And I've talked about that pivot moment with the Four of Pentacles clarifying the Chariot, Cancer and Capricorn. What is this? This is the Sun in Capricorn. Christmas! Sun in Capricorn. Hey. Um, this feels like a very protective energy. And again, it almost okay, this is starting to make sense. So when I did my little the rest of 2020 reading, it came out in December about remembering September. And I was talking about the need to remain flexible in how I make choices and decisions. And to know that, like, at a certain point, I'm not only making decisions for myself. And so there are certain things that I wouldn't be able to see for myself if I'm making decisions based on incorporating something else or someone else, right? Or I can be changed by someone where I decide not to even pursue that path. Magician and the Two of Swords. Man, this Two of Swords is not leaving the bottom of the deck. The Star and the Two of Swords. Let's see if the Star will take it. Oh, it did. Who's coming out with the Star? The Star and the Archangel of Healing. The Healer and the Archangel of Healing. Exactly. It's almost like it goes from a solo path to a path that involves more people for whatever reason, right? Because let's say that, I don't know, I get a dog. And so the path that I might have had where I travel a lot and I'm never home is different if I can't travel with that dog, right? It's something like that. And again, it's a variable that I don't yet know of. And so it's not too... Five of spades, nine of hearts, a blip of light at the heart of a black hole, progenitors in a primordial pool, the rise of two empires synchronized, a vision that ignites the self and the soul. With the bottom of the deck being the Two of Hearts, being between worlds, a vision brought to life, choices that require foresight and communication. Here's a vision that ignites the self and the soul. Over here is a vision brought to life. With the blip of light at the heart of a black hole, it's something that I wouldn't even believe. Especially by the time I have kids. So alright, I don't know what I'm doing today, but let's do something. I wish there was like a random spread generator. I was like, let me scroll through and find a random spread. Let me see if there's I haven't done a full Celtic cross in a long time. I kind of just like the heart more, or the shield of the Celtic cross. Let's see. I think she put spreads in the Book of Maps. Her spreads be too deep though. Too deep though. So let's just pull a few cards and see what they offer, and then we'll go. With that, I want 5 cards. No, we'll do 4 cards in the bottom of the deck. Yeah, that's not really helpful. I feel like there's so many. Ooh, there's the Keeper. Exactly, the Keeper and Corruption. That's one reason why I guess I've been, just resigned to going with the flow. Because it's like, without knowing why, like with the tower, right? If something happens that completely changes the way that you view life and the way that you make choices, it wouldn't be very helpful to know the choice that you'd make, right? Because you wouldn't know why. And that's why sometimes when I get certain cards, I'm like, oh, this feels like this is one of those live life and find out type things, because something is going to happen that is unforeseeable, that will like it's going to greatly influence your choice, right? Like if I go back a year ago, I wouldn't see myself making the choices that I'm making, or that I feel led to make, for gosh darn sure. Okay, I kind of want a jumper, so like if y'all could talk to me, that'd be great. And I want it to be face down. I know I'm being like super picky, but can I get like 4 face down cards, please? We can do it 1 at a time. We can do it 4 at once. It's up to y'all. Thank you. Just 3 more, please. Oh, thank you. 2 more, please. Like 2 more cards, please. Can I get like 2 more cards, please? 2 more, please. 2 more. 2 more. 2 more, please. 2 more. Oh, work. Okay. Cute. Bottom of the deck is the 2 of Pentacles. And the 2 of Pentacles with the 5 of Swords right behind it. The 2 of Pentacles in this deck is about being in between worlds. It's about transitory periods and phases. So, yeah. Something that happens that completely shapes, or that completely changes everything. Also, I watched Rustling Around's latest pick a card video, and it was so accurate. And I'm just like, oof. And I feel like it speaks of the internal struggle that I've been in for at least the past 2 months. Okay. I also want 4 face down cards here. What the? Who this? Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. I'm like, hold up. But maybe it's Alright, 4 face down cards, please. That's not face down. The 3 of Hearts came out face up, putting you back. Face down only. Face down only. Face down. But sorry. I'm sorry. I think I saw a card flipped over though. Maybe not. No, I guess I didn't. Okay. Oops. Oh, there's one though. 3 more, please. Oh, there's another one. Now they're starting to talk. Now you're starting to speak my language. I'm so excited. I'm really excited about this potential opportunity. It's kind of sort of exactly what I wanted. Kind of sort of. Kind of sort of, and it's really great. I need to definitely practice. Everyone's like looking for highly motivated individuals. I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm highly motivated. I can be though. I will be. I will be. I would be. I will be. I will be. I am. I am highly motivated. A last card. Thank y'all. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we just taking the first one. Well, this one goes at the bottom, and it's the Queen of Diamonds. Diamonds. An abrupt change of season. The vision catching up to fantasy. The filling of valleys and the falling of mountains. That's about 10 of hearts below that. 10 of hearts is a stargate that leads to fantastic places, correcting what has been misused, and stabilizing timelines. What was I going to say about this? An abrupt change of season. That's interesting. And that kind of sort of is this Two of Pentacles energy, right? That's like if you go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, especially if you go in the summer, you're going to be going from summer to winter, or from winter to summer, right? Now, spring and fall are both a little bit more temperate, so that might not be as extreme. But this is like fairly huge shifts that happen relatively quickly, which is gorgeous energy, but it's like, keep your make sure you fasten your seatbelt. You don't want to go flying out the car. You don't want to be ejected from the vehicle. Stay on top of the wheel. It's about to pick up. Oh, the Hermit. Interesting. Hermit in the Seven of Cups. A favorable turn of fortune. A powerful message duly received. And then the Lantern is the star. Right? Stars are fortunate things, right? If you get a wish granted. There's also a book up here. There's a staff. So there is this energy of learning to use one's abilities. I am going to read the I Ching between the Hermit and the Seven of... Wait, who did this? Okay. See, that's what I love. It's like, as soon as you start, or at least it's been my experience that as soon as I start to move, then things continue to happen. But also I gotta, put a little bit more coal in the engine and get a little bit more steam coming out the choo-choo train because we gotta pick up speed. Because things about to get a little crazy. So the Hermit is the Erudite, and the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups over the Erudite is... This will be water over the mountain. Water over the mountain. Okay, I think I've had this one before. So we're starting with Water Over the Mountain. Water Over the Mountain is number 39, Impasse. Ooh. Impasse. So, an impasse in difficulties. Water seeks movement while the mountain seeks to remain still. An impasse. Difficulties encountered. The sage changes inside to cultivate virtue. It is a time for inner reflection, self-awareness, and personal development. Peril above, peril below. When wise counsel has been sought out, it will be auspicious to proceed with your endeavor. Adversity and troubles, take caution, but the ending will be well. When you hit the worst point, you cannot go at it alone. Seek out support and counsel when you are uncertain. This feels like a past most energy or a present. We're going to go past most, future most, present most, whatever most. And with the Erudite here, the Hermit here, a powerful message duly received. Ooh, received by who? Is this a message from Spirit? Was this Spirit like, you need to work on this? And if you don't, you ain't going nowhere. And then maybe we tried to fight it for a little bit. We fought it for a little bit. Some stuff happened. It sent us into hermit mode. Now Spirit is like, yeah, see, now we got to band-aid this. You want us to kiss your little boo-boo so you feel better. Okay, now pick yourself up get back on that bike and try again. ah, it's just like that again type energy, right? And I feel like there is a little bit of frustration that could come there because there isn't, or it feels like there's no real break. And I bet a whole bunch of people felt like they haven't really had a break in a minute. By a minute, I mean roughly approximately, it is now the 9th month since the 3rd month, like 6 months almost. Right? But I think the wise counsel that was sought was the divine through the space of the self, or the self as directed by the divine. Right? It's almost like the more that you went inside, the clearer and the stronger the connection with the divine. And so, if you try to move in ways, I guess this could be kind of sort of present energy with Mars retrograde, squaring Saturn retrograde. But it's like in a season of stillness, if you try to move, you'll face resistance. And also realize that in a season of movement, if you try to stay still, you'll face resistance. It feels like agitation. It feels like frustration when you're trying to move and you're not supposed to, but agitation when you're trying to stay still but you're supposed to move. And sometimes you can be both frustrated and agitated at the same time, and that's like you not moving in the direction that you're supposed to, or trying to move in directions that you're not. Next is King of Wands, Archangel of Glory with the Queen of Clubs. This is King of Wands, Queen of Wands energy. This is interesting. We've seen the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. We saw them together yesterday. Down here, the Mother of Wands came out, and I was like, oh, I want to clarify this. And then the Father of Wands popped out right on top of her. I was like, oh my gosh. Bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, and seeing the internal through the external. And then we have it with the Archangel of Glory, which is the Angel of Art and Grace, who is Gabrielle with the horn, I believe. Or Gabriel. Gabriel or Gabriel? Maybe not. Where the horn at? There's lots and lots. Yeah, the horn's right there. There's lots and lots of books here. Also, this is the energy of a royal decree. When the king and the queen agree on what needs to be done for the kingdom, it happens. And so I think it was about aligning you more so with the divine to put you in a space to do those things that you would otherwise be too whatever to do. And you can substitute whatever in for the space of whatever. Too afraid, too stubborn, too proud or egoic, too lazy or unmotivated, too whatever. This is fire over thunder. No, this is thunder over fire. Did I read the last one right? Yeah, thunder over fire. Thunder over fire gives me 8 of Wands energy from the Well-Known Tarot. This is number 55, Opulence. And it's like, be careful not to let joy devolve into debauchery. No, that's mirth. Opulence is... So, right off the bat, it's time for us to do something with this fire and not just hold it. Abundance to opulence, height of advancement. Honors bestowed. There is progressive movement and there is clarity in the mind. You are in a position of great influence. You rise like the sun at the highest point in the sky. Be mindful when abundance becomes opulence. When abundance becomes opulence, the king will fall. Every age of enlightenment comes to a decline. A period of tremendous power is upon you, but bear in mind that this too shall pass. Embrace the tides of change, come what may. Okay, and I'm kind of sort of feeling this energy right now. But ultimately, like what this is gonna do is it's gonna put us in a position that we actually like. It's gonna almost elevate us from our old life, from an old world into a new life. And it's like the change is gonna be so drastic, it's gonna feel like a completely past life. It's gonna feel like a whole lifetime has passed. Right? A lot of people would say that it already feels like we're in a whole new world because of everything that's happening compared to the world that we knew before in a lot of ways. And so here, there's order and delegation with this opulence, with this abundance. This is a need to use one's influence in a way that aligns with the self. Because the Queen of Wands is kind of sort of like sitting in a space of confidence, of being integrated within the self. Queen of Wands is kind of the shadow queen, but she's like, she's not led by her shadow. She's the light, and where there's light, there's shadow. And she knows that. The King of Wands is all about going out and getting what you want. This is a both energy. This is interesting because the Queen attracts to her what she wants, and the King goes after what he wants. So there's also this need to kind of sort of know when to hold them and when to fold them, or know when to strike, know when to wait, know when it's time for you to be more actively involved to get something, and know when it's time for you to sit back and allow it to come to you. And again, this is something that we kind of sort of learn here through the space of the connection to the divine, because the divine will tell you, or the universe will communicate to you in some way, if you don't believe in nothing else, that okay, now it's time to move. Okay, now it's time to stop. Right? Sometimes it's like you put a feeler out, like fishing, right? Sometimes the action that you take is doing something to throw your line out into the pond, and you wait until you get a bite, and then you pull it back, right? You ain't jumping in the water. I mean, some people are. Some people are. It isn't necessarily to jump in the water and try to like catch your own fish, right? But if you're spearfishing, then you don't just stand at the banks of the river. You actually have to get into the water. So it's a continuous guiding process, right? And so I feel like what's not necessarily going to work is like, oh, the divine told me to do this 10 years ago, so I'm going to keep doing this, even though I've gotten different instructions several times. It's almost like be careful not to get too stuck, because if a fire stops, it dies. Right? If you burn up all your fuel, then there's nothing to keep you going. And it isn't to be a wildfire either. It's to be this torch that he carries. And every now and then you light a brazier. Every now and then you stop and you camp out for the night. And then you pick up the fire and you move on the next day. Next pair is the Holy See and the Nine of Clubs. The Nine of Clubs says, stripped bare, a game of charades, and a day with no mirrors. And then we have the Holy See right here. This is interesting because we have the Holy See and the game of charades. This is the energy of people playing church. Like the pastor got like 15 side chicks, and 3 of them got pregnant, and the first lady didn't know, and somebody super messy showed up to church on Sunday when the pastor was in the middle of his sermon, and she like, you done knocked me up, you gonna pay for this baby, and everybody's like, and then somebody else is in the church like, yeah, he done knocked me up too, and he's like, what? And then it's just the whole scene. I don't know why it's all that, but that's kind of sort of the circus that goes on, kind of sort of behind the scenes. but it takes away from what that space is supposed to be for, right? It's like we human it up. And in this deck in particular, the Holy See is about going beyond someone else to claim a relationship with the divine for yourself. But it almost feels like this is Adam and Eve, because it feels like there's some kind of shame here. And that's how God knew that they ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because they knew that it was bad. They only covered it up because they knew that they had done something wrong, right? If they didn't do anything wrong, there wouldn't be anything to cover up. And I feel like the day with no mirrors is just not being able to project. Did y'all hear her? Not being able to project responsibility for this onto someone else. Also, it speaks of needing to develop clairaudience, but I take that to just be like discovering the voice of the divine for yourself. Right? It's like as long as you put your faith in man, you will be disappointed. You're supposed to be tapping into the spirit behind the man, God behind the pastor and the preacher and the ministers and the deacons, right? We're supposed to be seeking that relationship for ourselves. Holy See and the Nine of. Oh, come on. Come now. This is Fire Over the Mountain. We've had water over the mountain. Now we got fire over the mountain. Sounds like some alchemist is at the top of this mountain doing some work. Wait. Fire Over the Mountain is number 56, The Wanderer. I don't think I've ever gotten this one before. No, wait. I might have gotten this one. I may have gotten this one a long time ago, like once. But I don't think so. This one is 55, and now we're going to 56. That's interesting. The Wanderer, the Fool, a Stranger. The enterprising wanderer is a stranger in a new land, among unfamiliar people. Be knowledgeable and cautious. You are on a probationary period. To integrate yourself with the group, be humble, respectful of the group hierarchy, and let your humor be tactful. Be dignified. You are not yet familiar with inner politics, so do not engage in gossip and do not publicly declare loyalty just yet. Conceal your assets. Do not dismiss the oracle's warnings. Stay guarded and protect yourself from those who want what you have. Oh, why is it that the church is a breeding ground of jealousy and envy and all kinds of stuff? Maybe it's because when people get up and give their testimonies, it's some folks in the congregation who aren't as blessed who start to ask themselves, why her, Lord, and why not me? Or her, or him, or him, or him. Why him? Why her? Why them? Why not me? It's another arena to keep up with the Joneses in sometimes. Sometimes. Not all the time, right? But again, like we human things up. I was like, oh, good job. You humaned it up. You humaned it up and ruined it for everybody. Sorry. Also, apparently there's a little bit of phosphine gas found in on Venus, and now they're like, well, the only things that make phosphine gas on Earth is like bacteria. So it's looking like there might be some kind of bacteria on Venus. And if there's bacteria on Venus, that means it's like viable for human life. Whatever. Not whatever, but you know. Why am I talking about that? I don't know. But yeah, this could be any space. This is any spiritual space. So be mindful of the humans in spiritual spaces, right? Just because they're spiritual doesn't make them any less human. We're all human, right? But this energy here, leading into this energy, it's about seeing the self and being authentic to the self. And when you're solid within yourself, there's nothing that you have to envy in anyone else, because whatever's meant for you will come your way. And you know that, right? And it's like sometimes we want what people have, but we don't want to work as hard as they have to work. It's like, how's that work? That's interesting. I did not expect a warning to come. But we did just have opulence as well. So Jupiter just went direct. The world is an interesting place right now. There are, I mean, people are people no matter where you go. So even in spiritual and religious communities, people are still people. Envy, jealousy, that grows into hatred and spite and all kinds of stuff. It exists. And so maybe if that wheel does start to turn, you might want to keep it a little hush hush. This is saying keep it a little hush hush, a little hush hush. You don't want it to be town gossip, right? Now everybody in the church is looking at you a certain type of way. And you're like, well, I've only told one person in the church. Everybody in the church talk to each other. All the mothers with the big hats, they talk to each other. At the Bible studies, at Mother Clock's house, they talk. But again, it's also about, I feel like that's one reason why it's so important to really develop a relationship for yourself. Because other people can kind of sort of ruin spaces like that, right? It's like you go to church thinking that everyone's going to be a little bit more godly. And you're like, wow, I'll come to the church and people are just as petty, if not more petty, in here than they are outside. Like if I wanted to play these games, I could have went like literally anywhere. Ending with the Six of Swords and the Three of Clubs, which is the Three of Wands energy. That's that calm of water. Manifesting calm of water. Selling on for your peace. Gonna get you some good sleep. On the cusp of realization, a shared vision, and a quickening. A quickening means this is coming in fast. An abrupt change of season right here. With the Two of Pentacles, right? Yeah, an abrupt change of season with the Two of Pentacles. This is like just like shooting into this new space. And it's coming in quick. It's sailing beyond all of this. But again, it's like you need to know who you can share what with and who you can't share stuff with. Because even if you don't, it's just like it complicates. It doesn't complicate it. It makes things unnecessarily whatever, right? It's like you could keep it to yourself and that person could stay in whatever space they're in and not get any more toxic, and you can keep about your way. And it's like no one necessarily has to know what anyone is going through. Especially if people can't celebrate others' victories. This is an empty boat, besides the ferryman, by the way. So it feels like this is a journey that really starts in the mind. Because all we see is the ferryman holding Universal Mercury and the swords, right? There's no person in that boat besides the one who leads it. Maybe there's no person in the boat yet because we haven't gotten in it yet. And this ferryman is the same, right? We got seek wise counsel here with the hermit. And if I see a ferryman, I think of Charon, not Chiron, but Charon, the ferryman over the river Styx, who grants safe passage. On the cusp of realization is a shared vision, a quickening. There's also a little bit of an influence of partnership here because of the shared vision. A little bit, a tiny bit. But also, there could be a space of finding a community of people who will actually support you, because whatever this community right here is, where everybody just gossiping about each other in the church, like that ain't it. Maybe for you it is, you know? I can't make such general statements. So let's check this one out and see what it is. This is gonna be. Excuse me. This is Fire Over Lake. Ooh, a lake on fire. Goodness. First the mountain was on fire, now the lake is on fire. And the water was on top of the mountain. So the water on top of the mountain that pools into a lake, it's all on fire. It's all on fire. But fire is it's almost like a holy element, like light, right? This is 38 polarizing. I don't think I've ever seen polarizing. I don't remember that last one either. 56. We're getting some new messages here. That's interesting. As many times as I use these I Chings. 38. This is estrangement, opposition, and polarizing. Sounds like distance. One pushes for progressive movement and one holds back. Two seek the same objective, but they go in separate directions. You are to stand apart from the rest and know why you stand so firm. While the greater endeavor at hand is being met with opposition, take the time to settle minor tangential issues. You feel misunderstood, yet your individuality is critical to the matter at hand. The estrangement is necessary. Do not chase after what will return on its own. You will be making the journey in the rain. You face inclement weather throughout your endeavor. Ooh, making the journey in the rain, that just sounds like tears. I can't stand the rain on my window. Bringing back sweet memories. So yeah, this is distance, estrangement from this community right here. But know that after the rain, the sun comes out, right? And you'll find like-minded individuals, or at least people who can genuinely support you and not be threatened. Maybe also find some people who can like handle support. So, ow, ow, ow. Sorry. I didn't, I didn't have to say that. Oh, that was so. So we got the Queen of Pentacles and then the Two of Pentacles as the overall. I know that was unnecessary. I'm sorry. This is Double Mountain. Double Mountain is number 52, Quiet Heart. It's interesting that. So it did say to know, it said to stand firm and know why you stand firm. And I think the knowing why you stand this firm is going to come here, and even a little bit here. Because you might start to look at people differently, right? It's like when everyone is on the first lap, no one's fighting. When you go on your second lap, the people still on their first lap start to look at you a certain type of way. When you get to your third lap and they're still on your first lap, that's when tensions can start to arise, right? And it isn't for you to keep yourself stuck in spaces that you've outgrown. Honestly, it's just not. And we all have our journey and we all have our own pace, right? But I feel like it's there's something about things being highlighted and illuminated. And the reason why I said that is because, like, again, it's like when you're all in the same position, like no one's threatened by anybody else, right? I don't know. Humans are gonna human. Unexpected sharp turn and a great thunderstorm. Unexpected sharp turn, a great thunderstorm, and abrupt change of seasons. Right here. Oops. Why do I keep dropping this thing? Yeah, a favorable turn of fortune is right there. An abrupt change of seasons right here with an unexpected sharp turn in a great thunderstorm. Okay. Also, it was this one, Water Over the Mountain, that said that, or was it this one? No, because this was Opulence. This was Water Over the Mountain, right? Yeah, because it was this one that said that water wants to flow, but the mountain wants to stand still. But now we have Double Mountain, which is that energy of being unshakable. The shock of fate has hit you. Circumstances seem beyond your control. In the wake of cataclysm, your will is weakened. You cannot allow that to happen. While you cannot control the circumstances, you can control your mental response. Oops, hold up, I'm trying to pick it up. You can control your mental response, even if you can't control the circumstances. Learn to maintain your composure in the face of cataclysm. Do not be terrified by the thunder and lightning. The outcome is not as bad as you dreaded. Regain your inner strength. You must persist onward in your endeavor in spite of blows. In time, you will fully recover what you have lost. It is still auspicious to go forth on your endeavor. So even if people start to fall off to the side, like I said, it's like you can't sacrifice your happiness, joy, livelihood, and progression for somebody else. Because if they were going to do it for them, they would be doing it for them. Right? It's like there's an energy of needing to keep your eye on the prize. And, you know, we all, like I said, we all come into it in our own time. This is interesting. So if y'all start seeing me less and less, y'all know why. I'm just playing, but not really. I don't know. I'm the type of person that don't too much be bothered by people. I'm like, if you mad, you mad. That's your problem, not mine. Because I'm always like, mad at me for what? Who mad at me? I ain't doing nothing. I don't bother nobody. I just like stick to myself. Stay to myself. You know, I keep a fairly tight circle. Or not tight, but just small. Fairly. And people kind of sort of come in and out of my experience. There are some people that, you know, they get in and they stay in. Some people get in and then, you know, they do the hokey pokey until the whole body is in. First one arm and then the other arm and then one leg and the other leg and then the head and then the head goes out and then the body goes in while the head is still out and then the body goes out but the head is in and then eventually it's like, okay, eventually we settle down on a frequency. So final message, final card, please. Thank you. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Wands, taken off. I've been seeing that card a fair amount. Between the Hermit and the Eight of Pentacles, both of those are Virgo energy. That's self-mastery. Corruption. The Seven of Cups. I feel like that's the energy of like, it's be mindful of the space that you're in, right? And be mindful of the energy that you bring to the table. Because if all you're doing is trying to manifest and escape from one situation, you could end up manifesting one of those situations that's very like out of the pot and into the fire, or out of the kettle and into the fire, right? It's like you're in this pot being cooked and you jump out of the pot, excuse me, but then you end up in the fire. And I don't know, the kettle, the pot is a little bit of a slower cook than the just straight up fire, right? What was that? Eight of Wands at the bottom. What was the card that came out? I already forgot. How did I already forget? What was it? Oh yeah, the Seven of Cups. That's also the space of like creating your own by aligning to, honestly, it's a need for surrender. It's a need to surrender because when you need for things to happen quickly, or when you need for things to happen in a certain way, you're more likely to take options that don't actually get you where you want to be, right? That actually end up being detours instead of progressive. Progressive makes soups, and I'm hungry. I actually had a chicken bimbo from Progressive. Or no, that's Progresso. That's Progresso. Progressive, is that Flo? The insurance people? I think so. I love Flo. Some people think she's annoying, but I love her. I was raised on Flo, grew up on Flo. King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. A decision that once made cannot be rescinded. A wise king who settles an impossible dispute, operating in divine order. Emphasis on that divine order. A wise king who settles an impossible dispute. It's about waiting for the divine to let you know exactly where it is you want to go. And now here's a queen, the Queen of Wands. Again, the Queen of Clubs. Bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, seeing the internal through the external. Right? Seeing the internal through the external, to me, especially in the context of this, is about understanding more so the space that people come from rather than the toxicity and vitriol that they kind of sort of spit out at you, right? It's like, oh, it's not my fault that you feel stuck in your own life because you don't do anything to, progress yourself, and because you haven't healed the things within you that keep you in these situations running the same circles. But you're not yet quite ready to accept that and to begin doing something about it. So it's easier for you to be upset with someone who's doing something than it is for you to just start doing stuff on your own. Right? It's like, oh, that's what that's coming from. It's not me, it's you. Let me stop. I don't have to be so whatever. But it is what it is ultimately at the end of the day, right? Like, now my phone don't want to work. Now my phone don't want to work. I was trying to see what the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups and the Norman were, but that's not going to work. So I'll just shut this down here. I feel like I should be a little nicer. Let me end this on a nice note. Life is hard for everybody. Some people have it rougher than others, but I don't think life is like challenge free for anyone. It just comes with a different set of challenges, right? And challenge is also relative. So what challenges you might not be what challenges someone else. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself at the end of these. But I'm listening. What challenges you may not necessarily be what challenges someone else. So you can't look at someone else's circumstances and be like, well, they have it easier. They don't have anything to worry about because they have this, 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 and that. For the person who gets literally everything that they want, to be told no is devastating. Because it's like, well, what do you do from that? Right? Like, I've literally always gotten every single thing that I want. I don't even know how to like, what do you mean no? Like, I don't understand. Like, but I want it. Right? And again, it may sound a little bit ridiculous, but to that person, that's a tower. That's a whole new experience that they've never had. And it puts them in a position to handle something that they've never had to handle before. And just because, your circumstances are different doesn't necessarily mean that, like, someone doesn't face challenges. It's just like how when people get a little bit older, they want to say to to children or to younger people, oh, you don't have any real issues. Like, let me know when you get a mortgage and you got to pay bills and you got to do this and then you got to do that. Then you'll have actual issues. But, like, did you not have issues when you were that young? Were there still not things in your life that were happening that you had to process and deal with? Yeah. Just because you get more responsibility doesn't mean that, like, the situation wasn't what it was. And I feel like if we use that on both sides, like, you would see that there's no real reason to be envious of anybody, really. Right? And when you focus primarily on the things that you can control in your own life, and when you show up as a participant, an active participant, when you show up as an active active, ACTIVE, participant, not inactive participant, and active. When you are active, activated, and you're participating, you start to bring those things in for yourself. The world is rough right now, and to some degree, life is always rough. But I guess it's rougher, it's more rough when you are faced with the uncertainty of life rather than the uncertainty of life being something that's unspoken. Because anybody can go at any minute. As someone who I know would gladly say, it seems like you could die at any time, like, and then you're just gone. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's like anyone can go at any time, and life can completely turn around for the better at any time as well. And so don't get sort of fixated, just like that one energy said. Even when you're on top of the wheel of fortune, be careful not to let abundance turn to opulence, right? Because things can shift at any moment. But your mental state and your emotional state plays such a huge factor in shifts, because if you don't allow yourself to see how things have gotten better, or because of old limitations and restrictions, if you don't allow yourself to take the opportunities as they come to get you out of your situation, then nothing is going to change. It doesn't matter how many opportunities you manifest if you never take any of them, if you never do anything with it. And so there is, I feel, a little bit that the divine is like, okay, well, before we just straight up give this to you, we're going to make sure that you're going to do something with this. Or we're going to somehow tell you or guide you to what you can do with this. So that when you get it, you know exactly what to do with it. Or so that you know how to navigate life without needing to know everything. And when you show up in the way that you need to for you in those situations, the path builds itself. So, Queen of Clubs, because my phone decided to turn on. Queen of Clubs is the snake. Snake. Desire, seduction, deception, craving, attention, sexuality, wisdom, forbidden knowledge, negative, and planned. And then the King of Cups that was at the bottom is, our King of Hearts is the house. Ooh, snakes in the house. Snakes in the house. Cardi B had horses in her house. You got snakes in yours. Oof. Hold up, let me make sure that was the king. Yeah, the King of Hearts, snakes in the home. I mean, well, we already talked about toxic community or unsupportive people in the environment, right? Sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's people you go to church with, sometimes it's your spiritual family, your church family, your actual family, somebody that you got some kind of tie to. And there's also a comfort there, right? Snakes have to shed their skin. If they don't, they suffocate or something. I don't know. Right? And what was it? A change in the home? That was one of the cards that came out. A quickening or something like that. So yeah, it's all about just doing what you can do for you in your time. And if you continue to do what you can do for you, eventually you'll find yourself in a space where you can sort of navigate a little bit more freely and a little bit more confidently. And you can drop a lot of resistances that allow things to come to you. Right? So that's what I got. I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever y'all see this, and I hope y'all are acting in alignment to make the good even better and the better great. I'll catch y'all probably tomorrow at this rate, but maybe not. I think I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna tell myself I'm not getting back on until, well, I'm gonna be going to visit my dad, and when I go to visit him, I probably won't be live. Um, I guess we'll see. I'm gonna challenge myself to not come live, even though part of me is like, I don't know, because like yesterday I was like, man, like there's nothing that I can really do tangibly for the collective, and I feel like sometimes I talk like a little bit of a butthole. But like at the end of the day, it's like it's not necessarily helpful if you're not in a space to receive it. But the best we can do to help each other is to empower each other to take charge of our own mental and emotional well being. Because everything else is kind of sort of outside of our control, more or less. Right? So in my mind, I'm like, well, that is helpful. But I forgot where I was going to go with that. Yeah. And then I was like, also, like, if I'm in a decent place and in a decent space, then, like, or a good, if I'm in a good place and a good space, then I can be available. But also at the same time, I recognize that there are certain things that we need to go through ourselves right now, and there are certain things that need to be addressed collectively as well. And we can't shortcut someone else's journey or experience. So it's all interesting.